So this week, the most famous person that I ever met died. In case you didn't hear, Mikhail Gorbachev, the former president of the Soviet Union, passed away at age 91. And yes, I got to meet Mr. Gorbachev. Now, I know what I would be thinking if I was sitting where you are watching this video. I would be thinking, how in the world did some regular average Joe, some country boy from down south, ever meet the former leader of one of the most powerful nations on earth? Well, the answer is simple, and I'm going to tell you. But first, ignore the mess behind me if you don't mind. This is one of my little storage buildings, and I am in process of cleaning this up. It's going to be transformed here in a couple of days, and you are going to get to benefit from the transformation of this space. Now, back to the story. So, when I was back early in my career, when I was just getting my start in law enforcement, I took my first policing job at a major university. And not only was I working patrol there, but I eventually qualified and was put on the SWAT team. And it just so happened that Mr. Gorbachev had been invited to come speak at the university, and the SWAT team was then tasked with helping to provide security for the event. And my post was just outside, immediately outside at the door for Mr. Gorbachev's dressing room. So he came and he spoke and he addressed the huge crowd that had assembled there to hear him speak. And interestingly, part of the story then deals with his bodyguards, because he had two of his own security detail there, and they were the ones who escorted him everywhere. And while he spoke, these two guys stood in this hallway outside the dressing room with me. One of them was this great, big, huge guy. Had to be at least 6'5" and 300 pounds or so. He had a dark complexion and black hair and these bushy eyebrows. He was kind of a young guy, somewhere around my age at the time, and he was very friendly. He loved to talk, and he spoke pretty good English. And so he engaged me in conversation for most of the time that we were waiting for Mr. Gorbachev to finish speaking. And we had a good time. I really enjoyed the conversation we had. Now, the other guy, he was the scary one. He was probably mid-40s and 5'7" or 5'8", at most 150 pounds soaking wet. And he was the one who had the little metal briefcase, which I'm sure probably contained some type of collapsible or foldable Kalashnikov rifle. And he never said a word. In fact, he never smiled. He never showed any expression. He just kind of glared at me the whole time, as though he were trying to figure out which of the many ways he could kill me with his bare hands he would enjoy the most. And after a while, I asked his companion there, who was so friendly, I said, "Man, what's up with your counterpart over there?" And he looked at him, he looked back at me, and looked back at him, and looked back at me, and he said, "Oh, no worry, he's fine. Everything fine. He never talks." I said, "Yeah, man, but whew, he's making me a little uncomfortable." He was the intimidating one, and I was sure glad that the one I made friends with, this great big huge guy, was there, that he was friendly. Anyway, Mr. Gorbachev finished speaking, and then he came back to his dressing room. And when he came back, he stopped. He shook my hand, introduced himself. I introduced myself. Of course, he really didn't have to. I knew who he was. He thanked me for doing my job and for making sure everything was safe. and spoke for maybe 20 or 30 seconds. And then that was it. I found him to be friendly enough and very dignified and very professional. He seemed, to me at least, the way he talked to me, he had a lot of respect. He showed me respect, and very much just a dignified, classy human being. Now, as far as his politics or other things about him, I don't know. I'm just telling you the feeling that I got from my short interaction with him. I felt it an honor to be able to meet him, and something that I have remembered my entire life and will never forget. Hope you have a great day. Look, do me a favor. If you've enjoyed the video, hit the like button. We're about to have a lot more content on this channel, and you're going to like it. Some of it might be political, some of it won't be, but it's all going to be very interesting. So, while you're hitting the like button, also subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss any of our upcoming content, and that will be starting in the next week. Thanks again for being here and watching and listening to me ramble about the time that I, just a regular old Joe, got to meet Mikhail Gorbachev. See you next time.